One of the most daunting responsibilities that a manager will be tasked with is holding a separation conversation. No matter the reason an employee is being terminated, delivering this message to one of your employees will undoubtedly challenge your skills as a manager. These conversations can feel challenging and stressful, and rightfully so. A decision to end someone's employment should never be taken lightly. That said, under certain circumstances and with the appropriate protocols followed prior to separation, it may be the right course of action. You'll need to develop a calm, confident attitude going into these conversations. Let's walk through an employee termination scenario together. In the following scenario, you open the meeting by explaining to your employee that their employment will be ending effective immediately. It's important to be clear and succinct about the reason for the termination decision. In this scenario, your employee has failed to make the required improvements to their performance, and you have followed your organization's corrective action process with them prior to making the decision to terminate. As you know, you and I have worked closely together over the last several months in an effort to help improve your performance. We've been through the corrective action process, and at this point, we are at the end of that process. We have not seen sufficient improvement, and unfortunately, today I have to let you know that we will be separating your employment. This separation will be effective immediately. So I wanted to sit down with you and walk through the details and answer questions that you might have. After you share the reason for separation with the employee, they begin to argue that they have shown improvement and that they should be allowed to continue their efforts. I understand how difficult this conversation must be for you, and I take no pleasure in giving you this information. However, we have made a decision, and that decision is final. It's not up for discussion during this conversation. If you would like to set that aside and talk about questions that you have related to your final pay or things like that, I would really love to be a support for you in any way I can. As a rule, separation conversations should remain brief. The employee doesn't want to be having that conversation any more than you do. These are the items that must be cared for during a separation conversation. First, explain the reason for the termination. Second, provide final paycheck information. Third, review COBRA information if that applies. And remember to collect passwords, company property, etc. prior to the end of that conversation. Congratulations, you have a new skill.